It's a beautiful morning. Welcome to Sports Talk here on Atlantic Television Network. Of course, I have a lot for you this morning. On the menu, Nigeria picks Cricket World Cup qualifier ticket. Tojimare maintains lead in Andover Handball League, and in football, Liverpool outclass Madrid in the UEFA Champions League. Details of this and many more will be yours shortly after now. Welcome back from that break. If you're just joining us, it's Sports Talk. Always a delight to all the happenings in the sporting world. Quickly, let's start with the cricket qualifier. Yellow Greens have booked a place in the final series of the ICC T20 World Cup qualifier with one to spare. Sub-regional qualifier C in Abuja yesterday. The Yellow Greens were also joined by Botswana, who also secured the second automatic qualifying spot from the group after beating Eswatini by 9 wickets. The two teams now join Tanzania, Malawi from qualifier A, Zimbabwe, Kenya from qualifier B, and the two African representatives at the last T20 World Cup, Namibia and Uganda, who are drawn by into the regional finals. Despite the two spots already decided in Abuja, the closing matches today in Abuja to discuss pertinent issues within the sports ecosystem. Now, the meeting was focused on several strategic areas crucial to the future of the sports in the country. During the meeting, Diko reiterated the peculiar need for a robust legal framework to guide the sports sector in Nigeria, especially as it needs to reflect on the new dimension of sports development as envisioned by President Mohamed Bola Tinubu. Discussion centered on the drafting and enacting of processes of legislation to formalize the sport economy and ensuring a clear governance, legislation, and investment. Diko and the NLC also emphasized the importance of having world-class sports facilities across the country, investment structure, including training centers, stadia, and community sports hub, was identified as key priorities. These facilities will not only serve as breeding grounds for athletes, but also as a hub for hosting international competitions, thereby boosting tourism and national pride. Let's move now to other issues, and the handball season is back again, and I can tell you that a lot has been happening, in the last 2 days. Yes, teams arrived on Tuesday, and from them we have seen a lot of stuff from that Tuesday. Yesterday, games formally commenced yesterday, and just to take you through some of the actions that we have seen. Toje Marine Handball Club and Safety Babes continue their lead on the Handball Premier League this year, as they won their matches on day 1 of the phase 2 of the league held in Lagos. In the women's category, defending champion Safety Babes Emma Muzo had an MVP performance with vital saves. The Benden Dynamos inspiring MVP performance by goalkeeper Omolua Susan, and attention so end-to-end game. Defender Babes were surplus to requirement as they lost 36-34. Those 2 point difference between the both sides there to an exciting Rima Queens, while Seaside Babes also had, and Kwaz Babes played out a massive 27-27 draw. So here are some of the results of the games played. Let's start with the female category, where Bende Dynamos scored 18 as compared to 34 point of Delta Queens. So Delta Queens ran out the Rivers Queens. Defender Babes lost 34-26, 36 to Rima Queens. Peacock 29-27, Imo Grasshoppers there. That's 2 point different, and continue. So some of the results we have seen in the female just tells that the point margin, those 2 points between them, which is not bad, because it shows intense competition. It shows the spirit of achievement there from the teams. And so let's move now to the male team, where Adamawa Warriors had a walkover of 10-0 against Confluence Stars. Lagos Insiders also had a good run, but Kano Pillars did come back in that game. But 2 points difference between them ensured that they ran out victorious in that one, 19-17 against Kano Pillars. Sunshine Stars, Kings, I beg your pardon, also played so well against Niger United, but they lost to Niger United in that particular one, 22-34. Correctional Boys scored 27 as against Toje Marine Academy, and the big guys in the league who scored 35. Benue Buffaloes 18 points as against Safety Shooters 33, and then the defenders against Rema Strikers. The Rema Strikers scored 32-23 from that encounter. So these are some of the results from the handball league. Probably one of these days we'll get to bring in Cosmos, Chukwemeka, the handball media officer. Hopefully he will get to take us through expectations, where the team is right now, the teams are, and the preparations, and many more. We'll also talk about handball on a wrap. I'm sure we're going to do that hopefully today or one of the days to come. But let's move over now and let's talk matters that concerns Formula One this morning, where the Italian Grand Prix at Monza will remain on the Formula One schedule until at least 2031. Monza, the oldest track on the calendar, has signed a 6-year extension to its existing deal. The move comes after modernization works were completed at the track, the oldest on the calendar in the time for this year's Italian Grand Prix. Formula One had demanded upgrades to Monza to raise the facilities to a more modern standard. They were founded by the government of Italy and the Lombardy region. Monza first held the Italian Grand Prix in 1922, and it has staged the race every year since the Formula One World Championship started in 1950. Other than in 1980, when the track was closed for renovation. And so these are, get to see how far they can continue. But then Formula One is saying, okay, we're going to have, races in Monza come next year. Don't also forget that recently we saw the good moto, appearance and that approval to be part of the Formula One season in 2026. That means we're going to have 11 constructors in Formula One from 2026, and of course that also will bring some excitement. The Cadalic partnership with the GM Motors. So a lot is happening. The next season is promising to be a bomb. But then we still have 2 games. The penultimate game in Qatar, before the Abu Dhabi, Grand Prix, where everything will come to a climax this season. Don't also forget that in Formula One, just recently, Max Verstappen had emerged as the winner for our 4th consecutive time in Formula One, and that ensured that he wins this particular one with the likes of Sebastian Vettel and other big names, hoping that he can even achieve more. But then the stiff competition from Lando Norris of McLaren was also one of the talking points and highlight of all that we saw this season. But then Formula One is gradually building to the climax of this season. The constructors title is still, we'll still keep an eye on that particular one. We hope that it will become a lot of battle between Red Bull, talk about McLaren, and then talk about team messages. Hopefully we'll get to see how far it goes. But with that, now we're going to short break. When we come back, we'll talk more of tennis and then more of NBA after the short time. I don't go anywhere.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
All right, welcome back from that break. If you're just joining us, it's still Sports Talk here on Atlantic Television Network. Of course, we talk about football now. But before we dive into football, a lot of happenings in the NBA. I'll just take you through some of those encounters, and I can tell you that in the NBA, we saw a lot of results in the early hours of this morning, and so we'll take it, try to bring you all those results and many more on the show. The Golden State Warriors had a very lovely time, 101-105 in a very cagey encounter. And then the Nuggets also had a roller coaster ride against Jazz, 122-103. The Los Angeles Lakers had 119-101 as against San Antonio Spurs. These are some of the results we saw in the early hours of this morning. But then it is now back-to-back loss for the Golden State Warriors, losing to Thunders. This is not the way Car will want to accept this particular one. But I'm just wondering what is happening to the side, especially losing at the Chase Center. This is a consecutive loss now and not a cheering one at all. Something should be done because they are not doing badly in the Western Conference. So one will be wondering why this number of losses so far recorded, from the team. And well, in the coming, later on, we will look at take an analytical preview of the result, reactions, and what the coaches, have said. That one, I think that we can do that one. So let's move on now to football news, and we'll start with the Shiro Cup, where a lot transpired, yesterday, and I can tell you that Remo Stars ladies defeated Abia Angels 6-4 on penalty. Now, if you understand how this is played, this is a pre-season tournament, and for the first time, we've seen Remo Stars, doing the needful. They scored a particular one on penalties to lift the Shiro Cup at Go Project in Abuja. For Remo Stars ladies, coached by Wememo Matthew, that lady, this is her second time in the competition, and she did so well. She was just the best coach of the competition, and of course yesterday she also spoke out her excitement and how they got to winning that particular one. And I can tell you that in that post-match she talked about a whole lot of stuff, her experience bringing it to bear, and her desire to go one more step with the ladies. Possibly the next target should be about winning the league, and of course she talks about the brand of female football in Nigeria. So for me, I think that she deserves to be the best coach of the Shiro Cup. Shiro Cup is a pre-season tournament, and it's just one of those competitions. Don't also forget that they were also part of the Betsy Obaseki competition earlier, and they also getting to win this particular one now will really boost their morale as they prepare for the Nigerian Women Premier League. Earlier in the third place match, we saw Nigeria Rattles beat Bayelsa Queens in a penalty shootout. 5-4 it ended after the game was, this thing. We saw super substitute Aritz Titles put the visitors ahead with when she scored in the 20th minute before Nwachukwu Adana leveled the score for the host for Nigeria Rattles. And the coach of Nigeria Rattles, I love the way he spoke, Keshi Samson. He thinks that with what the club have achieved, they will try to win the league. He talked about how he came to the club 2 months before the time, and then he also was very emphatic with the way and manner he went about that encounter. But then the Shiro Cup has come and gone. What next now is for the teams now to prepare for the Nigerian Premier Football, Nigerian Women Football League, which is another phase of the league altogether. But then let's move away from the Nigerian Women Football League and let's talk about what is happening in the NNL, where we saw some input. Yesterday was a day of celebration. If you are a lover of Nigerian football, Godswill Akpabio, United FC has been officially unveiled. That marked a major milestone for the club that was established, and also get them to prepare for the 2024-25 season. But a lot of questions are already asking. I mean, how can a club who has just been established, get that momentum to the league? It looks sort of worrisome for some stakeholders who are already asking. I mean, a club that was just recently, coming to the league, why not go through the third tier, fourth tier, and then groom yourself to that level? That way, it will help to boost in the league. Also, like Fabio has already signaled his ambition and intention for the promotion of the Nigerian Premier Football League and the recruitment of blended players filled with experience, talent, those who are hungry for success. And a lot of persons who were live at the center yesterday witnessed the formal presentation of the team, the coaching staff, players, management officials, and personnel. Well, somebody will tell you that this is how it starts. But then I hope that to continue. I hope that in the next 20 years we'll still get to hear about Akpabio FC, which is the likes of Andresa. Some of them are struggling now. In fact, Ifan Yoba is nowhere to be found these days. Imagine of us a miracle, nowhere to be found. So, we're asking the big question is, when you have individual teams coming up, well, we got to see how far, but I'm sure I will speak with the media officer. Let's know the aspiration of the team, the objective of the team, how far they can go, what is the sustainable plan. A lot of questions. It's not just about floating a team, unveiling them, and making news headlines. About sustaining the team, having good financial plans, and then good strategy, to blend at least 20 years plan, for the club. And let's see how far it goes. Let's move away from the Nigerian National League now, and let's talk about all that transpired on March day 14 of the Nigeria Premier Football League. And I tell you for sure that it was another blockbuster and roller coaster encounter across various match centers yesterday. We saw coaches making post-match analysis of event that transpired. But one man was not happy at all. Saduki was not happy. He said that it looks like they were robbed in that game. He was not happy with the goals scored. He was not happy with the way the referee officiated that encounter. And then he said it's the first time he's going to talk about referee. But then the question of whether there will be any development or appeal, he said the team will not appeal. So maybe later we'll call the media officer. Let's get more reaction. Why he thinks that that game was he was robbed in that encounter. Maybe we'll talk about that later on. But then for Imama, he thinks that it was a fair play. They won squarely, and that was it. So let's take a look at some of the results from the other centers where games were staged. In Akwa Ibom, the Gosu Akpabio said we saw Akwa United. We were able to grind that 1-0 win against Plateau United. I was following that game earlier yesterday, and I saw in the first half, second half, about 70 minutes was still goalless, but thanks to the effort, they were able to pick 1-0 against Plateau United. So Plateau traveled without a point in that encounter. Kwara United at the Lauren Township Stadium also did so well against Heartland. 1-0 it ended. I'm not sure that that man, Amunike, will be a very happy man. I haven't lost that particular one. They would have hoped to pick maybe a point and continue their, their streak of not losing so far in the previous games he's played. Abia Warriors, yesterday, I talked about that one already, against Katsina United. 2-0 it ended. Nasarawa United, we granted a 2-1 win against Bender Insurance. Don't forget that Bender Insurance have lost their manager, so they were still grappling and trying to rebuild, that themselves. Shooting Stars also had it going for them against Remo Stars, but Remo Stars showed class in that particular one, 2-0 at the Kenyatta State. Honorable Dana Igali has commended the resounding victory, resounding indeed, because nobody would have believed that Bayelsa United will triumph United Tornadoes with that number of goals, and he applauded them with the approach they went into that game, and that enabled them to beat Nigeria Tornadoes convincingly in a 4-1 win there that returned them to winning ways after a 2-match winless run. And so if you know that man, who a lot of person will never believe to be doing so well, at least he's getting his getting wins home and trying to also get some win away from home. But then let's see how far consistency, sustainability will go for them. We hope that this win will not just be the last in recent time. We want to see more consistency on the part. All right, away from the Nigeria Premier Football League, there are more news still popping out in the national team, where in the West African Football Union B has announced the host for this season a 17 Women's Championship, and the body in West Africa region did this announcement yesterday that Accra, Ghana is the venue for the competition. 7 countries, including Nigeria, Niger Republic, Burkina Faso, Benin Republic, Togo, Ivory Coast, and host Ghana, are listed as participants. The tournament is slated to be held from 12th to the 26th of December this year. So, Flamingos under the coach Bankole Olowokere are ready the quarterfinals of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in the Dominican Republic this year. But then, I hope that they've learned their lessons and they can move on. Away from that, in the continent, we saw a game yesterday, just during the period when the Nigeria Premier Football League was ongoing. We saw a CAF Confederation Cup between Al Masry of Egypt and Eyimba Football Club, and that game ended in favor of the home side because it ended 2-0, and not a very rosy moment for the Nigerian side at all. And for them now, they picked that massive point. Al Masry will continue to hope that they can even go away from home, and they also pick point against Eyimba. But then Eyimba also failed to threaten the host. I mean, there was nothing, no fancy play from them, according to the match report. We hope that when they come back home, they can prepare at a Gospel like Pablo Solomon and even move on. It's just one loss. They still have a few more games to play and hope that they can qualify from the group. With the wealth of experience they've garnered over the years, one should think that Eyimba should be fancy to pick it and qualify. But don't forget that we have Zamalek still in that group, which also poses a lot of threat, for them. But let's move away from club football in Africa now, and let's talk about happenings in the UEFA Champions League, where we saw some dramatic turn in the games played yesterday across various centers. Now, if you followed the match on Tuesday and you think that was enough, then you haven't seen anything, because yesterday we saw some mouth-watering clash, resulted to some exciting goals across the various centers where the UEFA Champions League Swiss format, was played yesterday. And the top clash a lot of person expected and get to watch was the game between Liverpool and Real Madrid, the defending champions, at home in Anfield. And that game was tricky because Liverpool, going to that game, they had their topping, and they are yet to lose a game so far. But Madrid were depleted with some concerns, came into that game as defending champions, and of course we saw how the Red retained a perfect start to the Champions League record to stay top of the standing. And when you listen to the post-match reaction, and the slot was just laughing, the guys did the magic. What more can you say? The stadium was filled to its brim, and of course when you are playing at home, that this confidence that come. Mo Salah missed a penalty in that encounter, but then that was not the story. The big thing about it is that even Carlo Ancelotti, admitted to the fact that Liverpool were a better side, a very more compact side, and I think that the team is still rolling on the roller coaster ride. So other games we saw, Red Star Belgrade had a 5-1 win against Stuttgart, and for me this is surprising because 5-1 win at home against Stuttgart, I would have expected something else anyway. But then Stormgrass also got one against Girona. When it ended, Celtic in Scotland held the Club Brugge to a 1-1 draw. Dinamo Zagreb, we lost at home to Borussia Dortmund in a 3-0 win there. Aston Villa, before then, talked about getting a point, and I'm sure that this result will not be a bad one for Unai Emery, who had also expected to get a maximum point at way for home, maybe to win. But Juventus also had a better plan, so it ended goalless between the both sides. Bologna, we are 2-1. They lost 2-1 to Lille at home in Italy, and then Lille continued their fine form this season. Celtic, I talked about that one already, and then Monaco also lost at home to Benfica in France, and this Portuguese team will be very excited to have picked all 3 points in that encounter. But same cannot be talked about Shakhtar Donetsk, who traveled to Netherlands and lost 2-3 in a 5-goal margin there. But then these are some of the games we saw in the UEFA Champions League. Just to roll you through what to expect in the second tier of club football, and hopefully third tier today, Thursday, because there will be games in the UEFA Cup as well as the UEFA Conference League. And so AZ Alkmaar 6:45 will take on Galatasaray. Anderlecht, same time, will take on FC Porto. Besiktas versus Maccabi Tel Aviv. Same time, we're going to see Dynamo Kiev versus FC Victoria Pleasant. Lazio will take on Ludogorets, and then Karabakh FC will take on Lyon. Later on this evening, 8 p.m. precisely, we're going to see Manchester United will take on Bodo Glimt, and then Tottenham Hotspur will hope to rekindle their rivalry against AS Roma. So these are some of the games that we get to watch. I know that we have Conference League also, but hopefully when we come back later this evening, we'll look at what Chelsea, how they go about their Conference League preparation and many more. But just to tell you that Bruno Imechi is hoping to be transferred. The transfer window is coming up in January.